welcome to our Life Group Leaders Lounge. My name is Brooks. I'm joined with my co-host Braden.
Hello.
And also special guest Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Hello. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for being on here with us.
Of course.
Ryan is infamous here. He's a musical director here, worship director at Ocean Beach, and he also runs the college and student ministries here at this campus.
That's right.
So we invited him on. We wanted him to be part of this conversation about Killer Icebreakers.
Oh,
yes.
we cut off his thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, all right.
Brooks, go on.
So when I was
Let's hear it.
thinking about Icebreakers, I, for some reason, had this Dracula voice in my head, and I wanted to try it.
Okay, I'm going to close my eyes because I want to picture it.
I want to hear it.
Yeah,
Do it.
Go ahead.
We are going to talk about Killer Icebreakers today.
Oh my gosh, she's here.
Welcome
That was the
in.
actual
That's not Dracula. That's
Welcome
Gru.
in.
That's Gru from Despicable Me.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? That is. Yeah.
No. Anyway, so today we're getting into icebreakers, and we want to talk a little bit about why do we do icebreakers, how they fit into the group dynamics of our group, because this semester we're going to be all talking about group dynamics and how to get better at what we're doing within the actual group setting. So last week we got into the importance of introductions, what do you do to your first week, kind of setting the group culture. So if you didn't listen to last week, make sure you jump into that one. That was a really good one. But today we want to get into icebreakers. So I guess, guys, why are icebreakers important to the group?
Well, I mean, what I always see is they're so disarming, and people come in throughout their week, and it's hard to kind of change pace into the group setting. But when you have an icebreaker, it gives you a chance just to unwind and to just to have fun. And that's gonna be one of the types of icebreakers we talk about in a few minutes here, but it's just such a disarming thing. So when you did your voice right there, it just gives us a chance to laugh together. And icebreakers are about group participation. It reels everyone in, and it gives us to laugh together, to get to know each other.
Absolutely.
You know, when people are coming into group, it's like they're holding their breath, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I'm not sure. Maybe I've been a couple of times, but I'm still meeting people. And then somebody, makes a joke, asks you a question. It's kind of like, oh, okay, this is safe. All right, I'm good here. We can talk about ourselves. We can laugh together. All right, I can do this.
It's very humanizing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one big piece I find about icebreakers is that it helps people open up about themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes someone will say something in icebreaker that maybe they wouldn't think about saying just off the top of the head when they're introducing themselves to someone. And that's why I think icebreakers are really vital to the health of a life group, because we want to develop authentic relationships in a life group. That's one of the strategic ways that we accomplish our mission statement here at our church. But also they provide us an opportunity to find commonality with other people, to find ways that, hey, we're in the body of Christ, we think differently than one another, but we also have a lot of things that are the same. So it builds bridges right away with people.
Yeah, and commonality is so important because every good friendship starts with hearing someone say something and you go, me too.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually, I was asking a friend of mine, Gabe, shout out to Gabe, who does our music at the beginning here of our podcast. And he sent me something that was really interesting about icebreakers. He said, if your life group is only about the Bible study, right, or discussing the sermon-based content, then, and you don't provide people a chance to be able to share about themselves and for people to get to know one each other, what it creates is it can create very shallow relationships with one another. And that's definitely not what we want. We want people to feel connected and committed and feel supported. And a lot of that, strangely enough, begins in the icebreaker. Yep. Because it gives people a chance to really open up. And so let's just get into some types of icebreakers for our leaders here to focus on. So let's talk about one of them. I think I always try to find something fun as a life group. I always want to talk about something fun. And it gives people a chance to open up. So for instance, my life group, we always talk about okay, good intro question. What's your favorite band? Top 5 favorite movies. When's the last time you saw a movie and it just left an impact on your heart? Were you into Star Wars or Star Trek growing up? Are you a Marvel or DC person?
So good.
If you were to have a vacation anywhere in the world, where would it be? You just throw out questions for people to share where they're at. I think I even like ones what's a phobia that you have? Yeah. Are you afraid of clowns or spiders or whatever? And you'll find some of the strangest answers come out, and people will laugh and it'll be fun.
Yeah. We do something kind of similar in college group, but it's so you're asking the whole group, a prompt question. We'll do something called hot seat, where we'll pick one person each week. They'll come up, sit up on the stage, and then everyone else just riddles them with questions.
Cool.
Well, what's your name? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Like, what do you like? What do you dislike? All those same questions, but like geared towards one person. And
That's
obviously
awesome.
it provokes a discussion among everybody. Like, you say something like, what's your favorite pizza topping? And they say pineapple. And then the whole room erupts. No, pineapple's gross, But it's focused on one person, getting them to kind of like, open up. And we do it very like interview Jimmy Fallon style.
Oh,
so
fun.
It's
That's
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea. I had never done that before in a
Yeah.
life group. It's like, instead of maybe asking everyone the same question, just ask one person a bunch of questions. That's
Really
cool.
good one to have in your arsenal. One specific icebreaker I'll give to you guys is I'm going to actually model it with Ryan.
Oh, here
I've
we go.
asked Brooks these questions before, but Ryan, I'm going to ask you. So let's start with the first question. It's really simple. What's your
Okay.
favorite color and why?
My favorite color has got to be pink.
Pink.
It's got to be.
That's so surprising. Okay, why? Why pink? Why pink?
Well, I mean, it's nice and soft. It's mellow, right? It's it's kind of not the norm. Yeah, it's kind of like weird and wacky,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, weird and wacky. I like
And
that.
yeah, I mean, when I think pink, I always think of like vintage like guitars with like a pink finish gloss over it, like
Okay.
Yeah.
So soft, not the norm, a little weird and wacky and vintage. I like it. We'll move on.
Yes.
Next question.
Okay.
What's your
Okay,
favorite
wow.
animal and why?
My favorite animal, got to be the capybara. Easy.
I have never heard of this
Easy.
animal in my life.
Is that in Star Wars?
It is, yeah. That's a
We're
Star
talking
Wars
real
alien.
animals.
No,
Real
okay.
animals, Ryan.
A capybara. They live in Australia. They're like a giant. If you ever seen a guinea pig, it's like a guinea pig, but it's like the size of a mastiff or something. Like it's big.
What?
It's like a big guinea pig.
Okay,
And
why?
why? Because they don't exist, and no, because they're like super chill. They live in, like I said, in Australia. They're like out on these farms, and they're just like kind of rolling in the grass, and like
So easygoing.
they're easygoing.
They enjoy the simple things.
They do, yeah, they do.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, and then last question is, how does the ocean make you feel?
These are good. This is the hot seat questions right
Yeah.
here. The ocean makes me feel at home. At kind of like mellow. I like mellow things.
Yeah.
Very like cool and calm, and I grew up by the beach, so like at home. Like
So
peace.
good. So good. So now let's
Yeah.
the first question is, what's your favorite color? Second question, what's your favorite animal? And third question, how does the ocean make you feel? When you're
Okay.
asking these questions, you want to make sure that you're drawing out the emotion of it. So how does it make you feel is a good follow-up question to get them to answer. So now your answer to what your favorite color was pink. And
That's
the
right.
why
Yes.
was, is soft. It is a little weird and wacky, not the norm, and vintage. And now that answers how you perceive yourself, Ryan. You perceive yourself in those ways.
I could see that. Yeah,
Okay.
I could totally see that.
And now, with your favorite animal, and you said, kind of like chill-
Capybara.
Capybara, which is non-existent. So
Giant guinea pig.
It's in
chill,
Tatooine.
all of this.
Yeah.
That's what you desire out of a significant other. You desire them to be like that.
You're very much like tapping into
Yes.
my psyche right
That's
now.
good.
This
Nice.
is very like
And last,
this
and
is
certainly
deep.
not
We're
least,
going deep
most
there.
importantly, how does the ocean make you feel is how you feel about God. I loved it because you just said makes you feel at home.
Yeah.
Calm. Love it.
cool.
Love it.
That's
So
cool.
it's just a
That's
fun
right.
way to get to know people. Again, there's a little bit of that fun and deep to that icebreaker.
Well, let's talk about the deep type of icebreaker.
Yeah.
So that's actually an example of something fun, but also it can go deep.
Yeah.
And so I often try to like couple like a fun icebreaker with a deep icebreaker. And so, cause I want to get to know people on the surface and also try to go a little bit deeper with them if I can.
Yeah.
And so like I like asking questions about like, for instance, tell me something new that God has done in your life in the last month or so. Also, maybe even a question about, I'll begin a semester like this, like, how is your soul? Like, how is your soul doing right now in your relationship with
Very
God?
open-ended. Yeah.
Yeah, super open-ended, inviting people to share something about themselves that maybe they normally don't talk about with other people. And so as a life group leader, you want to have discernment about those kinds of things, you know, vulnerability comes with time and trust and safety and things like that.
Don't want to freak people out the first week.
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
How's your soul today?
Yeah.
Well,
Ooh,
that's a good example of a great question for Brooks has been journeying with some men for some time now, so it's a great question since he has relational rapport.
You've built that trust, and now you can start going deeper.
Yeah, and I think too, what you brought up is like you try not to ask questions that are yes or no answers. You know, like, you know, I can't even think of one right now with an icebreaker.
Do you like chocolate? Yes or no?
Yeah,
Is your relationship with God good?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you think you're going to heaven?
Is it going well?
Yeah.
Yes or no? You know, so inviting open-ended questions, I think, or asking open-ended questions that can go deeper, I think will help. And then, Brayden, you have one more.
Yeah, I think it's important also, well, it could be important to connect people to the content that you're going to discuss that night.
Good, yeah.
And so let me give a good example. I mean, with the sermon study guide, which everyone, if you're on the Newbreak email list, you receive every week. Now, some of our leaders even lead a sermon-based group, and they use the sermon study guide to guide them through the material, give some insights, and even some questions to provoke really good discussion. Now, there's one part of there that we actually put at the very front. It says start here. And we have a silly kind of like off the cuff icebreaker. A fun icebreaker.
Yep.
And that second one, though, we always discuss how can we write an icebreaker that's going to get them thinking into what we're going to discuss in the sermon or in the material. So as a life group leader, this would be something like, let's say you are going to discuss Psalm 23 about the Lord being our shepherd. Maybe get them to discuss something like, hey, what is it like what is the life of a sheep like? What's it like?
Yeah.
What's a healthy sheep? So fun questions that could still be fun, but that get them thinking about the topic at hand.
Absolutely. Well, hey guys, thanks for joining us today as we talk about icebreakers.
Yeah.
So, Brayden, you want to add anything before we're done here?
No, I just want to say thanks, Ryan, for coming. And guys, stay tuned to the podcast as we continue to have episodes that pertain to group dynamics. We hope these are insightful. And if you have specific questions, send them in and we will address them in a future episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brooks, you got to wrap it up with your
Voice.
vampire impression.
It's the Gru voice.
Dracula.
All right. Make sure to this is not good. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also to the podcast that you follow. Thank you. Bye-bye.